Hi, we're back again. Our video quit at 4 minutes and 29 seconds, even though we recorded over 9 minutes. We're not sure what happened, but we're going to continue our discussion on 2012 and the preparedness of American citizens for a catastrophic event. I was saying that suppose a tsunami were to hit the northeastern United States. Almost instantaneously, millions of people will be dead, dying, injured, and at the very least homeless. We're talking about FEMA's ability to respond. Folks, we saw what happened in New Orleans. Her and I both lived through 3 hurricanes in a matter of 2 years in South Florida. FEMA's response time was not good. I think for American citizens to put all the responsibility for survival on the American government is foolhardy, and it's just not realistic. If we get back to the scenario of a tsunami hitting the northeastern coast, we'll find that it's going to be many years, decades, before we can recover from one single event like that. That's the reality. And I'm not saying this because I want everybody to wander around scared to death. You know, it's not about sensationalism. It's about living in today. These events occur. They haven't occurred in the United States yet. That's the real truth. What do you think about this, Eugenia? How should American citizens prepare for a catastrophic event?
Well, one thing that's critical is fresh water, and you have to have your canned items and a non-electric can opener.
Only if you want to open the cans.
We're not trying to scare people. We just are thinking that you should be prepared.
Well, we need to be prepared to look
before the event occurs.
Right. Well, we need to be prepared to take care of ourselves. Expecting that FEMA is going to run over here an hour after a catastrophic event is simply non-realistic.
That's not going to happen.
You know, if the events that are predicted for 2012 take place, and I'm not saying they will, I'm just saying there's a lot of evidence to support that it could happen. We need to be prepared to take care of ourselves for an indefinite amount of time. For the short period, it's a good idea to have some canned foods, canned water, and a manual can opener in the house at all times. And, you know, be prepared to help others in the community. I know after the hurricanes in South Florida, the ones that her and I went through, you know, I had 5 or 6 bags of charcoal and a hibachi barbecue cooker handy and available. Okay, we had canned foods, we had bottled water, and we were okay for a few days. And in a few days' time, FEMA did respond. They didn't respond as they had told people, but they did respond, and aid was forthcoming, as it will be in any catastrophic event. But we need to be prepared emotionally and materialistically, right, Eugenia?
That's right, and instant availability that we're all so used to now, that's not going to be there. So you have to be able to survive from what you have in your home for at least a week or 2 weeks worth of supplies. And if you live on the coast, not safe. Not safe. You can't get, for example, the Florida coast, you can't get out of Florida fast. That's not going to happen unless you have your own private plane. You're going to be stuck in traffic with everybody else, the other millions of people trying to get out of the state in a hurry. Unless, of course, you live up in the northern part.
Well, millions of people found out back in 2003 and 2004 when hurricanes hit. You know, we get notice. We get 24 hours notice. You know, the government gets out there, they issue warnings, they tell you to evacuate. But you get a couple of million people on the road trying to evacuate.
Trying to find gas.
And it's mass chaos. You need to prepare in advance. when they thought the hurricane was going to hit here in the Gulf of Mexico and hit the state of Texas. There's videos all over YouTube about people stranded on the road. They weren't prepared. They didn't have gasoline. They didn't have enough cash. Anything is possible during an emergency. So you need to think about it. You need to make a plan with your family. Hey, where are we going to meet? What are we going to do? How are we going to proceed? Do we have a place to go? How long is it going to take us to get there? Do we have cash available to pay for what we need then? You know, after a hurricane, there's no power. I know it's hard for the American public to figure it, to picture it in your mind. But having lived through this experience, I went through Hurricanes Donna, Debbie, Betsy, Cleo, and Andrew. Andrew was a small hurricane, but extremely powerful. The devastation in South Florida took about 10 years to recover from. And the first couple of weeks were really tough. I can tell you that I was raising 4 children at the time, and our way of bathing was to go down to the nearest lake and bathe. Our way of cooking was barbecuing. I mean, there's no electricity. There's no McDonald's.
Oh, and by the way, your cell phone will not help you, particularly if there's no electricity to charge it with. So please don't think that your cell phone will be your guiding light, because it probably won't work.
Well, first of all, the lines are jammed, people trying to call each other. It doesn't always work. And secondly, within a couple of days, your cell phone is dead. Now, we can tell you from our own personal experience that you can be without electricity and running water for a couple of weeks. It's not any fun. But here again, we were prepared, we made the best of it, and we got through it, as everybody will. But the secret is to be prepared.
Don't be scared, be prepared.
That's right. John F. Kennedy said very eloquently many, many years ago, don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. When the lights go out, things change dramatically. When the sun goes down, it's dark. And probably most of you have never lived without electricity. You've never been in an area where electricity stopped. The lights go out, it gets dark, and it gets scary. You need to have things on hand, like candles. If you live in a neighborhood where you know your neighbors, you need to have a neighborhood action committee.
What goes with candles?
Matches. Yes. A flick of your Bic is a very handy thing to have, By spending a couple of bucks and buying a pack of lighters and a bunch of candles, it's a good thing to have. In our house, we always have candles. We always have lighters. It's a necessity. Flashlight batteries are good, but, after 3 or 4 days, your flashlight batteries go dead. And there is no way to buy new ones because the stores aren't open. And your ATM card won't work even if the stores are open because there's no electricity. So keeping some cash on hand, a couple of gallons of water per person per day. So if you're planning on 3 or 4 days, then you need about 2 gallons a day per person. If you go to FEMA's website, I think it's FEMA.gov or FEMA.org, there's a list that you can download and print, and you can take it to the store and you can prepare. Catastrophic events almost assuredly will happen in your lifetime. I've been through several already with children at home. And folks, when the lights go out and it gets dark, it's scary. Every little noise, and you tend to stay awake a lot at night.
And with global warming, the climactic events that we're having are going to increase, so we need to be thinking about how to survive.
That's right. And we're going to leave you with this thought. Get prepared. There's no harm in it, and it's prudent. Thank you.